Nick, otherwise known as Axslav, is here with me now. Thanks for joining us. Being a pro gamer is a unique career choice, to say the least. What's the best part about it?
You know, I really like being able to make your own hours. You have to practice hard, but you don't have set hours like 9 to 5. You can wake up, you can stay up late, you can basically create your own hours, which is really nice.
How do you train to be a pro gamer?
Usually, I train maybe 6 to 8 hours of practice a day, and then I try to do 1 or 2 hours of coaching to help subsidize my income with that.
And if you weren't playing StarCraft II competitively, what would you be doing?
I actually tried out for the police force before, and I passed through all the tests. But then at the last minute, I decided, it wasn't quite for me. I also have a degree in computer science, so I might actually go into that field. And I have a lot of experience teaching. So I really don't know what I'd do, but I have a lot of options open to me if this doesn't pan out.
For a long time, you were considered mostly a 2 versus 2 player, and some thought that's why you were kept on your team's roster. Did you feel that pressure from your team or the community?
I mean, we were originally picked up that way, but I feel that I've always been a strong 1 versus 1 player as well. And, I've had the results lately to prove it. So there's that pressure to play 2s well, but honestly, I'm good enough at 2s. I don't really need to practice that at all. At least it's not competitive enough quite now where I actually need to really worry about keeping up skill in that regard.
How did being a 2 versus 2 player help you in being a 1 versus 1 player?
It actually helps a lot. In 2 versus 2, you have to work a lot with your teammate, and so you really have to work on coordinated tactics. And in 1 versus 1, those skills can apply as well.
What are your thoughts on cheesy versus standard players?
I really prefer standard players. I feel that a cheesy player can knock out a standard player, but the odds of them going deep in a tournament, knocking out 3 or 4 in a row are really low. So they more kind of just mess up the brackets, knock out a good player, but they're not really going to win themselves.
Who do you think is the cheesiest player in the first IGNProleague?
Both Cats and Minigun do a lot of tricky early game rushes. I would say those two. They're pretty intelligent with the cheese, though. It's not just, average ladder cheese. It's pretty smart.
If you had to name someone, who would be your rival in the IGNProleague?
Probably either Kiwikaki or Cats. Kiwikaki almost always beats me, so he's one of those guys I really want to beat. And Cats, he's beat me a couple times with some really tricky plays, and so he's one of those guys that we kind of go back and forth on pretty well.
How do you think foreigners like Koreans or Europeans would do in a North American league?
I think they do very well. I think especially the Koreans are definitely a step above the North Americans, I would have to say. But I think a lot of people overrate the Europeans. They're all very good, but they're not better than us. The North Americans can definitely hold their own against the Europeans.
Very cool. Well, do you have any personal goals in terms of your gaming this year?
I really want to win a major event. I've done really well in all the team events, and with MLG, IGN, and NACL, I want to take one of those down.
Nice. Well, good luck to you in this tournament.
Thank you.
And against the rest of the league.
Sure.